All right, hello everybody. Welcome to your very favorite Bronze Age comic book podcast, Flea Market Fantasy. I'm your co-host Mike Allen. As always, I'm joined by
Michael Dell of the LCS Hockey Radio Show.
That is right, and today we are reviewing a comic book that I had previously reviewed with professional wrestler Tyson Dukes. Tell us what we're reading.
Son of Satan, issue 4 from 1976.
Woo! All right, now before we get into Son of Satan, are you familiar with Tyson Dukes?
I am familiar with Tyson Dukes, yeah.
That is amazing. See, I wasn't sure if you knew who he was.
So Canadian wrestler, trainer of wrestlers. Trained our buddy Cat Power.
Yes, Cat Power, who was also a guest, a semi-frequent guest on Comic Book Syndicate, and she's a favorite of yours as well, right?
Yeah, she was on our show twice, and then she gave us the hi-hat, and she won't talk to me anymore. So.
Oops! Oops! Hey, I know how that feels. Anyway, so that's pretty cool, though. It's funny because these guys, they're just, I walk past them in the street, I say hi, but it's no big deal. But these are like celebrities to you. It's kind of like me, right? Like I'm like a celebrity to you as well, right?
I mean, Jolie is.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Whatever.
But anyway, Michael, Son of Satan.
Right. Let's talk about Son of Satan.
Were you even aware that Satan had a son?
No, not until this comic. No.
Because this title could also be used for a hilariously funny sitcom, Son of Satan.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be it's a high concept, but I think it'd be really good.
Right.
But
yeah, like Bewitched, Mork and Mindy. This would be a perfect 70s sitcom. I could see that.
Son of Satan. And yeah, this is from 1976. The character here that we're discussing is a fellow named Damien Hellstrom. He is the Son of Satan.
Awesome.
And his first appearance was Ghost Rider Volume 2, Number 1 from 1973. And I guess you have to say Volume 2 because the first Ghost Rider was that cowboy on a horse, right?
Sure, which was technically, Marvel's version was a total ripoff from a company called Magazine Enterprises. They had a Ghost Rider. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Well, I think we mentioned that in our Ghost Rider episode, but I don't think you were really paying attention. So
probably not. And Damien Hellstrom was created by Gary Friedrich and Tom Sutton. And of course, Friedrich was writing Ghost Rider back in the day there.
Yep.
And basically, this issue we're doing today, issue 4, it kind of discusses his backstory. But basically, Damien Hellstrom is the son of Satan and a mortal human woman.
Now, is that Mephisto or is that the real Satan?
It's just a Satan. It's not the Satan. It's just a Satan. Because Marvel would kind of toss that name around for a while there, But yeah, it's just a demon, I guess, but named Satan. But yeah, we'll get into his backstory more in the issue. But he has a twin sister named Satana. And she has one of those very fancy, completely inappropriate costumes.
Yes, I am familiar with it.
Along with Dagger and who else?
In fact, wait a minute. I believe, didn't she appear in some black and white magazines that were not code approved?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think she was. I'll try to dig those up while you talk.
Yeah. But so he's the son of Satan, but he's got a dark soul. He's like cursed with a dark soul. That dark soul also gives him power. He can project soul fire, energy out of his hands and shit. But he later in a revolt against his daddy, because he tried to overthrow his daddy and take over hell, he stole a satanic trident, and he uses the trident as his weapon to channel his soul fire. Okay. So it directs the soul fire at people. But he's also a sorcerer. He can do all that kind of stuff. He has a pretty cool look.
Yeah, depending how you define cool, but yeah.
Well, again, we've established a pretty low bar for cool on here. But would you like to describe his costume, at least in this era, what he looked like?
Sure. I'll start from the bottom and work my way up, okay?
Sure.
So he's got these yellow boots that kind of have like a point on the side. Then he's got the standard red, spandex pants that every superhero has.
Not unlike the same kind of pants that Tyson Dukes might wear when he's wrestling.
That's right. And then he's got a yellow belt. And then this is where it gets funky, okay?
Yeah.
He has a completely bare torso and bare arms, okay? Yep. But he does have a pentagram on his chest. That apparently, I do remember reading in the story that this was, I believe, a portal to another dimension, wasn't it?
I don't know if it's a portal. It's kind of like the Dark Soul branded him on the chest.
Gotcha.
Like that's kind of like a brand to show that the Dark Soul's inside him, and it's like the demonic side of him comes out on his chest.
Okay.
I think that's all it is, just like a brand. But I don't know. It could be a portal to another dimension. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's something funky. There's something funky, but I just can't remember why. So then he's got like a cape with like one of those big cowl things or whatever.
Yeah, big red cape. Big red cape.
Big red cape, and it's got one of those kind of like old style, like I don't know what you call it, but it's like a little rope that attaches the two sides of it together.
I call it a rope.
Okay, there you go, rope. And then he's got these like wristbands, these yellow wristbands, and that's pretty much it. And he's also got orange hair because we know that orange-haired people are evil.
Yeah, demonic ginger.
Yeah,
and his hair is kind of like styled in the front, almost like he has horns, maybe sometimes.
Yeah, you could say that. Yep.
And his eyes kind of look demonic as well when has Hellstrom. So I don't know.
Right.
But I don't know. It's pretty cool looking. He carries that trident around, and yeah. Have you ever thought about carrying a trident, Michael? I mean, Aquaman used to do that, right?
No, I've thought about carrying a gravity rod, but not a trident.
I always carry a gravity rod, if you know what I'm saying. All right, so Damien Hellstrom, I think we discussed his powers and whatnot, but the idea for the series was Stan Lee was having success with Ghost Rider and Tomb of Dracula. So he said, hey, let's cash in on this occult stuff while we can. And his original idea was for a book called Mark of Satan.
Huh.
And it was going to be about Satan. Okay. And then Roy the Boy Thomas stepped in, and he said, hey, that might be a little too much. Why don't you make it about the son of Satan?
Right.
And so it's the son of Satan. So basically, Damien Hellstrom, he's here on Earth, and he's committed to fighting his daddy, Satan, and all his evil minions here on Earth to expel all the demons from Earth back to hell, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So there you go. He's a good guy, but he's also internally conflicted because he does have that satanic side of him,
Right.
So he's always fighting, trying to keep it down, There you go. Gary Friedrich created and fully designed the character, although our buddy Herb Trimpe did the original art and the concept, but Trimpe said that Friedrich designed everything. Like, he just drew it. He had nothing to design. So
really, okay.
Yeah. After the initial Ghost Rider appearance, Hellstrom next appeared in Son of Satan in a Son of Satan feature that ran in Marvel Spotlight from issues 12 to 24, and that was from 1973 to 1975.
Right.
So then in 76, he got his own series called Son of Satan, which we are reading here today.
Yes.
And it lasted 7 issues before it was canceled. I guess an 8th issue was run, but it was just like a fill-in issue they had in the holster. And I'm like, all right, let's just publish it. But so it's really like an original 7-issue run in terms of like continuity and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at number 8, and it's Bill Mantlo and Russ Heath. So I guess this was the fill-in, right? Oh,
Mantlo was Mr. Fill-in. So they must have just had it in the holster in case they needed it. So that ended in 1977, and then our buddy Steve Gerber brought Hellstrom into the Defenders. And he was a regular member of the Defenders.
Right.
And then I think it was issues 121 and 122 in 1983, Hellstrom cast his dark soul out of him once and for all. Mm-hmm. So he no longer had the demonic side of him. And he married his teammate Hellcat, Patsy Walker.
Perfect.
I had no idea. Did you know that?
I don't remember that. No.
Yeah, Patsy Walker. If you like the Jessica Jones show, that Patsy Walker, she married Damien Hellstrom.
But in the show, they call her Trisha, right?
Yeah, instead of Patsy. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Trish. What else about Hellstrom? So, but then he and Patsy Walker, they went off to, they became paranormal investigators.
Really?
Yeah. I had no idea.
What comic was that in?
I don't know. I don't know.
I know there was a 90s series called Hellstorm, wasn't there?
Well, yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. But I think maybe they just helped out the West Coast Avengers on some stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, they were guest stars coming in.
Gotcha.
Or as I like to call them, the Avengers West Coast.
Well, yeah, because they changed the title to that later on. Yeah.
That's a little classier. He did receive his own series again in 1993 called Damien Hellstrom, Prince of Lies.
Ah, yeah.
And that lasted for 21 issues. And apparently, at some point early on, in like maybe the first 2 issues, they were calling him Damien Hellstorm.
It gets confusing, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought that was his name.
Yeah, but Hellstrom is the better name. That's his official name. And then in 2019, Michael, there's a book called Strike Force. Are you aware of this?
Is that like, is that Tito Santana and Rick Martel, or?
I wish.
Okay.
No, I so want to get into Rick Martel trivia with you right now, but I won't.
Anyway.
But apparently this team consisted of Monica Rambeau.
Okay.
Of course, you know her as Captain Marvel, and I think she's called Spectrum at this point. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
The team also included Angela. Remember Angela?
Yeah, Neil Gaiman's Angela, right?
Yep. Wiccan, who I guess is, Scarlet Witch's kid, right? Mm-hmm. And Vision's kid, I believe. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Idea.
Yeah. Because I think those kids got put into another dimension or something, and then she brought them back, and like Wiccan and Speed or something they're called. I don't know.
Okay.
But also, this team also has Blade the Vampire Hunter, Spider-Woman, and Winter Soldier.
Really?
That is like the most bizarre team ever.
Yeah, motley crew of characters, yep.
Now, this might be shocking to you, Michael. It only lasted 9 issues.
Ah, too bad.
Because it seemed like such a cohesive, well-thought-out group.
Right.
Good Lord.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I mean. As soon as you get past the mid-90s, I just tune out. I don't know what the hell's going on after that point.
And as we mentioned before, I think on the end of last week's show, Hellstrom is also a TV show on the Hulus. You can get the Hulu.
And I just found out they changed the spelling of the name. It's not Hell, Hell. It's just one L.
Really?
Yep. Isn't that weird?
Why would they do that?
I have no idea.
But do they run out of L's at the factory? They're like, all right, we only got one. Come on, Hellstrom. So, but like I told you before, I watched episode 1. I definitely watched episode 1.
Okay.
And I thought it was okay. Like, it was pretty good. It was pretty solid. Okay. Then I started episode 2 maybe, and I just tapped out because I was like, I'm just not into like demons and fantasy stuff.
Sure.
But if you are, you might want to give it a whirl.
Maybe one day. Right after I watch, what is that show called? The Inhumans, when I catch up on Inhumans. Okay?
Oh, that's on Disney Plus, by the way. You can get that on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Also, Agent Carter's on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah? Never seen it.
I love me some Haley Atwell. Holy
She's okay.
hell.
Yeah, it's okay.
In fact, let's just talk about Haley Atwell for the rest of the show. But it's Damien Hellstrom, Son of Satan, issue 4. All right, Michael, I guess anything else you'd like to say about him?
No, only that, again, this was something that when I was getting into comics, he was kind of, all these 70s characters were kind of gone by then, by the late 80s. So I didn't really discover him until later, other than seeing him in Marvel Universe,
Yeah.
So I didn't discover him until later.
Can we just review an issue of Marvel Universe sometime? Can we just?
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that. We should.
Just because that was great. I love that.
Oh, me too.
All right. The creators here, the writer is John Warner. Do you want to just talk about him now?
John, yeah, whatever you want, sure.
Let's mix it up. Yeah, he's born in 1952, and he was known for doing horror and supernatural stuff. From 73 to 79, he wrote Dark Shadows for Gold Key Comics, which is also a vampire book, a TV show, Dark Shadows. From 1975 to 78, he was the editor for Marvel's Black and White magazine line, and he worked a lot on Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, Doc Savage, Marvel Premiere, and Rampaging Hulk. And he was editor, and he also wrote some of those. During that time, he hired Ralph Macchio, or Macchio, however you want to say it.
Right.
So look at that. He brought in Ralph Macchio. He wrote all 7 issues of Son of Satan. He didn't, like you said, he didn't do the fill-in issue at number 8. And he wrote issues 186, 187, and 188 of Captain America.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And that's about it. John Warner.
Yeah, I'm not overly familiar with him.
The artists here are, it's kind of a duo, a team up here, because we got P. Craig Russell doing the layouts.
Right.
And Sonny Trinidad doing the finishes. Now, I'm trying to think, like, this wasn't just what they called inkers, right? I mean, at this time.
No,
like, this
it's a different level. Like, when you're just doing layouts, you're just kind of, like, placing the figures and doing, like, a rough sketch, and then the finisher is coming in and filling in all the detail, pretty much.
Yeah, because when I looked at Sonny Trinidad's credits, it got a little dicey in terms of what he was, because they would just list him as the inker here for this issue on some sites.
Yes.
So, but yeah, layouts just putting the composition of the panel together, basic figures, and then the finisher comes in and puts in the details. So
I wonder if Sonny Trinidad is a pseudonym.
No, he was born in the Philippines.
Oh.
And his real name is like Celso, like Kelso or Celso. I don't know if it's a soft C. And his nickname was Sonny.
Gotcha.
So sadly, he passed away in 2009.
Oh, that's too bad.
But when he came over here, like he started working in the 60s. Mm-hmm. And when he came to the U.S. and he created some Filipino superheroes and stuff. Okay. And we came over here and started working for Marvel. They called him Slammin' Sonny Trinidad in the Marvel bullpen. Slammin' Sonny Trinidad. And,
wow, I've never heard of him.
He was the penciler for issues 2, 3, and 7. And he was credited as the inker for issues 2 through 7.
Okay.
So I don't know. But I guess he's just finishing these for, I don't know.
Well, are you familiar with P. Craig Russell?
Well, we'll get to him in 1 second. But just one other thing on Sonny Trinidad, though. He did a lot of horror stuff, and he did some Savage Sword of Conan, that sort of thing. But that's Sonny Trinidad. Yeah, so the guy doing the layouts here is P. Craig Russell, and he was born in Ohio in 1951. And interesting note, he was the first mainstream comic creator to come out as gay.
Yeah, I just found that out, too.
How about that?
Yep.
He's listed as the artist for Son of Satan issues 4 and 5.
Okay.
But I guess, just in the layouts or whatever. His biggest run probably at Marvel was on Amazing Adventures in 1974. He did issues 27 to 37. Okay. And that was an ongoing story featuring Killraven.
Okay.
Now, do you know anything about Killraven?
Not really. I might have read one issue, but I don't really know anything. No.
I guess what it was like a take on H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. And Killraven was the hero. And it was written by our buddy Don McGregor, who did the Black Panther jungle action stuff. And P. Craig Russell also did a Killraven graphic novel. Over at DC, he inked stuff he inked some Batman stuff. And he inked over the pencils of Michael Golden and Jim Starlin.
Nice.
Doing Batman. And he inked Mike Mignola for the Phantom Stranger limited series in 1987.
Very cool.
Are you familiar with that series?
Yes, I have not read it, but I'm definitely familiar with it, yep.
Because we discussed Phantom Stranger on here before, unfortunately.
That's right.
And he also did a lot of Sandman stuff with Neil Gaiman.
Yes, that's probably where I've seen him most, yep.
Doing art and inks, and he's won multiple Eisner Awards for his work, like several, including the Sandman stuff he did. So.
Yep. Good artist.
Anything else about P. Craig Russell?
I don't think so. No, he's just a name I've always seen, over the years. So I've definitely, I've been around.
It's the first time I've ever encountered him.
Wow, so, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Huh. I think
I don't read Sandman.
I read it. I've known his name since the 80s for sure.
Yeah. So all right, let's see. Son of Satan issue 4.
All right. So hold on here. So we got the cover here. Marvel Comics Group. We got the ribbon at the top. Still only 25 cents.
And I got to see who did the cover. Because I don't think this isn't P. Craig Russell here on the cover. This looks like. This looks like a Buscema.
Yeah, are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good cover.
Yeah, describe it for the kids.
We got Son of Satan. So, hold on. We got Son of Satan standing on a stairway It's kind of like, it looks like it's coming out of a castle. And then behind him, there's all these, like, I don't know what you'd call them, but kind of like occult figures wearing, like, purple robes and hoods. And then there's, like, a statue way in the back of someone. It's all gold. And Son of Satan is holding up his trident, and he's fighting this guy dressed in, like, kind of green and blue, and he's got horns. And he's like, "Yield, demon, nothing can survive the power of my soul fire." And then the guy's like, "You may think you can defeat me, devil spawn, but how can you stand against the faces of fear?"
Yeah.
By the way, are you familiar with the Image character Spawn?
Yes.
Okay, because when you're reading this, I think you can see that when Todd McFarlane created Spawn, he was mixing in a little bit of Ghost Rider, a little bit of Son of Satan, and probably maybe a little bit of Spider-Man, but definitely some Son of Satan. And I think the repeated use of the word Spawn in here is what gave him the idea for the...
All right. I'm trying to... The site I usually go to see who the cover artist is does not have the artist listed. So.
Well, if I had to guess, it's John Buscema, for sure.
It looks like him, definitely.
Yeah.
So... did you mention the still only 25 cents at the top?
Yeah, I mentioned that. And then we got this awesome logo, the Son of Satan. It's on fire. We got a nice little corner box. I think that's drawn by John Romita Sr.
That is correct. And it's from one of his Marvel Spotlight appearances, and I guess they flipped the image and they just used it here.
Very cool.
So, but yeah, it's a great cover.
Yeah.
My only qualm with the cover is his chest. It looks just like a really fucked up star and not so much a pentagram.
True.
You know.
Yeah. It's a little bit vague about what that's supposed to be. True.
And also the guy he's fighting, or he's the guy who's saying, "But now you stand against the Faces of Fear." By the way, is the Faces of Fear, was that another villain team? Because these are just random people. That sounds like a villain team name, the Faces of Fear.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, this guy on the cover, it's definitely a dude. Yeah, when we get in the book, I think it's a lady.
Huh. I can't remember.
And this character's name is Prophet, Proffit, and he or she only appeared in issues 4, 5, 6, and 7 of Son of Satan, and that is it. So
really? Okay, didn't amount to much then, eh?
Nope. So, all right.
Okay. So yeah, now we're gonna jump in here. The Son of Satan.
You might want to read the little Stan Lee thing up above.
Sure. He is Damien Hellstrom, spawn of the devil, born of woman, man of God, heir to hell. And his two natures are ever at war. For though he carries Satan's mark on his chest, he is sworn to drive his father's minions from the world of man. Exorcist, psychic, demonologist, wielder of the soul fire. He is all of these, but within him lurks a second self, a savage, satanic side he must constantly fight to control, lest he lose his human heritage forever. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty good. But yeah, look at the credits here. We got John Warner, Craig Russell, no P yet for the layouts, and Sonny Trinidad is just artist, not
Weird,
finisher. Yeah, strange. This issue is called Cloud of Witness.
Right.
Hey, by the way, it's lettered by Condoy. One word.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Have you ever encountered Condoy before?
Never. Nope, never.
Yeah.
But we also got Petra Goldberg, never encountered her, and we got Marv Wolfman.
Yeah, I've encountered Petra many times. She was big in the 70s in coloring things. Yeah.
Really? Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Because whenever I used to write up the flea market fantasy books for their website, I always encountered Petra. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Okay. So yeah, so we're kind of coming in at the end of another story, and what's his name? So we got a big splash page here. We got Damien Hellstrom is walking along, and he's kind of you see he's imagining like above him is like 3 characters in hell. Him as Son of Satan, and I guess that's Satan, right? The purple guy.
Yeah. Satan's the purple dude.
And then who's the other one?
Satan's friend Jimmy.
Okay, gotcha.
No, I think that might be... He's talking about some professor that he had to fight, so that might be the professor.
Okay. So he's basically in his thought bubble. He's like, much has happened since my return from Arizona and my battle with Possessor. Oh, you mean that's who it is? The Possessor.
Oh, the Possessor.
Not the
I read it as Professor. I was thinking of the dude from Gilligan's Island. Right. Yeah, the battle with the Possessor. So I'm guessing that dude's the Possessor.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And he's like, I need to know what identity I have as Damien Hellstrom. Perhaps I may find my answer here. So he's at this university, right?
Yeah, I think it's in St. Louis, if I remember
Well, it
correctly.
says here in Georgetown in Washington, D.C.
Oh, so like I said, it's in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. I think when I was reading his backstory, he does take a job in St. Louis University at some point. So,
Okay.
But anyway.
So basically, yeah, it's a lot of flashing back, right? And he's like, I can remember. And he's like remembering his origin, right?
Yeah, it's weird because this is issue 4. You think they would have done this in like issue 1 or 2 or something.
Well, yeah, and it's even weirder because like he also had 12 issues in, what is it, Marvel Premiere?
Yeah, but you'd want to like recap it,
Yeah, if it was
for a new series.
you're right, yeah.
But issue 4 seems a little late. But,
Right. So then he was remembering back to when he was a kid, and he remembers his sister being separated from her, right?
Yeah, see, he's saying how he just thought Satan was some boogeyman created to scare kids.
Right.
As before he knew. And then there's a panel of him and his sister going opposite ways with Damien's mom holding his hand and the dad with his hand around the sister's shoulder, and they're like walking opposite directions because the marriage dissolved. The reason the marriage dissolved, Michael, what happened was Damien's mom's name was Victoria, I think, and his sister Satana was 3 years younger than him. And one day Victoria walked in on the dad because Satan he came down to wed and impregnate a human woman because the idea was that it would open up a portal to hell, and then the hell demons could come through that portal and take over the earth. That was the theory. Okay. So Satan didn't come down to the earth as Satan. He came in the guise of a human.
Gotcha.
And he was living as a normal human man near Lake Fire, Massachusetts, I believe is the town or whatever. I think that's what it was. So he courted this woman, married her, impregnated her had the kid with Damien Hellstrom, had another kid with her, and she had no idea he was Satan. Until one day she walked in and he was performing a satanic ritual with the daughter.
Really?
And she went insane. The mother went insane, like literally insane. She had to go to a sanitarium and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So Damien went to an orphanage, and the dad, Satan, went back to hell, and he took Satana with him. And she studied as at his foot, I guess, as an actual satanic demon, yeah. So, and then Hellstrom, grew up in an orphanage, and so that's what's going on here. And as our issue continues, we see a panel of him studying to be a priest. That was his big deal. He wanted to be a priest.
Right.
But then he gets a letter or something, right?
Yeah. Right. Oh, we skipping ahead to that?
Oh, no, I'm still going on the flashback scenes. He leaves the monastery. He just gets up and leaves, right? Because he was notified of my inheritance of the Fire Lake Mansion in the diary. Yeah, so he goes back to Massachusetts to take over the house. And he discovers a diary written by his mother. Mm-hmm. And she details the backstory of how she made sweet, sweet love with Satan. And that his daddy is Satan. So...
Right, but then in the middle, it's very awkward because in the middle of him flashing back, we cut over one panel.
It's a big panel at the bottom of the page, like a whole third of the bottom of the page, right? And
it says, "While elsewhere, but close by." And there's this big. I didn't even know what this was supposed to be. It's like a computer printout, but it's like it looks like. Yeah.
It's a computer on a screen, though. It's not like a printout on paper.
Right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's a computer screen, but it's obviously like, since this is 1970, whatever, they didn't have the technology to make it look like it was on a computer. So they took regular, like, text font, and they tried to, like, warp it to make it look like it's on the screen, but it doesn't quite look like it's on the screen.
Yeah, it's like a lot of effort, though, because they do the perspective on it. So, like, the font is bigger on the left, and it gets smaller as it goes to the right. But they draw the computer screen as curved, and it's not curved with the screen, so the perspective's all off. But it seemed like a whole lot of effort. Like, just make the screen straight on. I don't know.
You're right. Good point. Yeah.
But we also see like a lady's right hand sticking out or sticking into the panel. Right. And we see a lot of tack, like Mike L typing up to Google something in the show.
Right.
All right, so then the next page, though, the flashback continues with no
segue.
I was so confused. Like, were you confused?
Yeah. Oh, I had to go. I was reading this and I had to go back and go, what the hell is going on?
Because there's not even like a little note saying back to Hellstrom. So I don't know if like the people in this picture at the computer are having this flashback now.
Right.
Because that guy, I guess that guy in the first panel is the possessor, right? Or I don't know. Or is that supposed to be Hellstrom? It looks like the possessor. I don't. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's very confusing. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. But he goes on to tell about how he closes the portal to hell at the house, and he burns down the house, and now only he's the only one who can open the portal back up. So, but then he had no plans. But financially speaking, I needed none. I briefly entertained notions of returning to St. Louis. Ah, there's St. Louis.
There you go.
There it is. But I knew that could never be. How strangely fortuitous to find in the special post box I maintained for my business reasons, the letter. Thanks for telling us that he has a post office box for his business reasons. And then what does the letter say, Michael?
Let me zoom in here. University of the District of Columbia, dear Mr. Hellstrom, please be advised that you have been accepted by this institution to be named department head for our newly formed division of parapsychology studies / paranormal phenomenon research. Should this appointment meet with your approval, please contact us at once, blah, blah, blah. So he's been accepted to a position at this university.
Yep. So that's where we cut back to the splash page of him walking toward that building, and that's where we're back now.
And now, so he runs into this gal, and
she's an albino, Michael.
Yeah, and it's like, he actually, in his narration, it's like, but the graceful figure which steps out of the shadow of the orphans is no vision of doom. Damon relaxes, but does not smile. An albino, and she seems to know me.
Yeah.
And then so they just start chatting it up.
A foxy albino.
Yep, she's a foxy albino. And her name is... what is it? Serapha
Thames.
Serapha Thames, right.
But it's spelled like the river. Thames.
Right. And so she shows him to his, sleeping quarters.
Yeah, she's supposed to meet him on the behest of the the dean or whatever.
Right.
The university president, Dr. Anderson. And so she's supposed to meet him, show him his room, get him settled in, that kind of thing.
I thought more was going to come out of that. I thought, when I saw that bed, I was like, oh, here we go.
It's not a penthouse forum, Michael. It's Son of Satan, Yeah.
So now we really awkwardly cut back to that computer printout. It almost makes you think that, the comic was written and drawn and then just cut up and rearranged. But anyway, so now we cut back to this computer printout, and then this woman is like, here's the readabout you asked for from the master computer, Brian. Thanks, Amelia. After all this time, you still puzzle me. Yeah, why is this dialogue here? You look more like a character from a Victoria Holt novel than District U's most efficient research compu-librarian. Anyway, so they've been, investigating his past just to see what he's all about, right?
Yeah, because he's the guy who hired Hellstrom, and he's nervous about it, because I guess Hellstrom does have a reputation as being they have a picture of him in his Hellstrom costume, his
right.
Son of Satan costume. So I guess he's kind of known for being a exorcist.
Okay.
A very dramatic, flamboyant exorcist.
Right.
So he's a little nervous about hiring him, but he's just telling this lady, I want you to go she says spy on him, but he goes, no, just be a, what does he call it? A consulting diagnostician to just make sure Hellstrom's doing his job the way he's supposed to be doing it. And to make me seem like I made a good hire, So, and she's dressed in this old Victorian or goofy dress. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. It looks like a clown outfit, but it's very strange.
It's weird. Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about this transition here, Michael? Because they show the dean or the university president or whoever he is talking to this lady, and then they do a establishing shot of the outside of the building, and their speech balloons are coming out of a window. So to let you know they're still in the building. And then the next page, the first panel we get, now we see the building from inside another room because there's a window in front of it. And the speech balloons are still going to that building. Then the next panel we see Hellstrom is in that room. And there's the curtain there. And we still see their speech balloons coming out of the building. And then the next panel we see Hellstrom's hand closing the curtain. So now we're in his room.
Very confusing. Again, I was totally confused.
It was a little. It's interesting, but yeah, it is a little confusing.
Yeah, like maybe they were just experimenting with like these storytelling techniques, but yeah, it didn't quite work.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, like we can talk about this later, but I do like these camera angles. Like it's really cool, but yeah, like either it's experimental and it doesn't work, or I don't know what. But yeah, it was confusing for sure. And so now, so then Damien Hellstrom, he's like chilling out. He's like, okay, time to take a nap. And he lays down. We get this really cool overhead shot, and then he just falls asleep. And he's like, I wonder, did I make the right decision? Arid desert, Arizona. No, it isn't desert, but somehow there is a newness to it. The whiteness of hot sand. I am dreaming. So he knows he's dreaming. Now all of a sudden, we're in his dream, right?
Yep.
And in this dream, he's in the desert. We got the blazing sun, and then all of a sudden we see he's walking towards this kind of like opening and like this old like stone, some type of building. And there's this like Egyptian guy standing there.
Kind of like our buddy the Pharaoh. Remember him? Though?
Exactly. Right. So he welcomes him in, and Son of Satan walks in, and then the guy I don't know what language they're speaking, but this is basically the cover now, kind of. We get this, some kind of guy, this leader of this, like, cult or whatever. There's a bunch of guys all around him with, like, cloaks, and they're all chanting these same words.
Yeah, because it looks like there's a big statue of Satan up at the top of the steps.
Right. And this guy's in front of it. He's like a priest of some kind or whatever. And then, what's his name? Son of Satan is narrating, and he's talking about the incense swirls about his eyes. Sweet. Oh, he's not narrating. This is third person. His eyes, sweet, choking, ambrosia. And then the guy, and then he starts talking to the guy. But it turns out it's not a guy, it's a girl. And so, yeah, I guess this is the character from the cover, but like you said, this is a woman.
No.
No? Oh, you're right, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the character from the cover, but not the one he was fighting.
Oh, you mean with the back to you?
Yeah, this is like the
okay.
All
right, yeah.
Like the priest or whatever they are, way at the back, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, where was I? Oh, I flipped back. Hold on. So this cloaked figure, he walks towards her and he realizes, oh shit, that's my mom. Yeah, right.
Yeah, she takes down her cloak and now she's all angelic looking. And she's like, hey, I joined the covenant. I'm a nun now. And he's like, but you're dead. You're dead.
Right. And
he's still dreaming.
And then all of a sudden now, behind his mother, we see Satan, who's purple.
Yeah, it's a good panel. I like that.
Yeah, it's good. And then she's like, keep thy watch on us, thou who art Lord of all. Let us stand in thy light and guide us through the dark. Help us, O Lord, when we falter from thy path, and teach us wisdom in invoking thy name. Amen. And then they start kissing.
Well, yeah, she says, Satan starts pulling her towards him, and she's like, hey, Damon, it was good to see you.
Yeah.
And Satan says, come, my love. And they kiss, and she says, yes, I am ready, my love. And look, she's grabbing his ass.
Whoa, that's right. Yeah. It's a handful
she's
of
grabbing Satan's ass.
Yeah.
And Damien Hellstrom screams no, and the two of them like combine in a fiery inferno.
Right.
And
then he's like, and then all of a sudden a voice from off panel, hush, the spell is not yet concluded. And he's like, what? Turns around, and now there's a woman. This is the woman, right?
It's like a lady, but in the cover it's a dude.
That's weird. Yeah. So this woman has like a green and purple costume. Pretty cool design, actually. Well, not green and purple. Green and blue. Green and like greenish blue.
Yeah.
And then he's like, who? I have been called by many names. I have chosen Prophet, Proffet.
E.T. Yeah.
And am known as the Celestial Fool. I am the arbiter of this dream, and though it is made up of the weavings of probability, which I do not control. I am its only point of reality. And then we see, like, what is this, Anubis or something, an Egyptian god here?
Yep.
Like the dog god.
Yep.
And then, so then prophets
we get the Ankh as well. We see the Ankh.
Oh, yeah, the Ankh. We love the Ankh.
Yep.
So we kind of get this, like, vision. Like, we kind of zoom into Anubis's eyes, and then inside the vision we see a figure that's all black on fire, and then it's a skeleton, and then it becomes the skeleton of Anubis, and then changes into the Ankh. And then the woman's like, these images all have meaning. They are all portents. But it is you, Hellstrom, who must apply the images, unravel their fabric, and reweave them. And then we have 5 advertisements in a row.
Yeah.
And then, and then basically, they're just, the woman's kind of like, explain, like, and then the woman's like showing him mirrors, and like, there's an image of a woman, and then a demon, and another woman, and another woman.
Yeah, the woman on the left is that lady who's supposed to go, quote unquote, spy on him that we met in the dean's office or the university president's office. And then there's a wolf in the center, and then our albino friends on the right.
Right. So, yeah. And she's like, all these images are rays of light, yet not emitted, not yet reflected. They are malleable to the senses. They can be altered as easily as they are arbitrated. You can alter them, Hellstrom. You. So it looks like he's got some choices to make to see if he can, alter his fate. Not that we know what any of this means, but...
I like that the panel of him staring right at the camera. Heavy inks.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And then basically, so she finishes her message, and then she disappears. And then there's like more characters. Like now he's kind of like in space now, basically, or like night sky. And there's like these I don't know what you'd call them, like almost like rocky formations, like in space, and there's characters standing on them. And he's like, the images have changed again. I'm in a different place, a graveyard, but why? And what is that strange procession circling me? And it's kind of like, nope, skip 5 more things. And then, so this is a funeral procession. And who are they burying? Whose funeral? Mine? Is this yet another cryptic portent to make me doubt myself, my sanity? And so then he looks into the grave, and it's Serifa, right? Serifa Thames.
Yeah, our albino friend. Yeah.
Right, the albino. And she's like, and then her eyes, she's in the grave, but her eyes open. She's like, Damon? And he's like, and then she screams. And he's like, what in the heck was that? So then all of a sudden he's standing like in a forest, and then who comes out of the forest to talk to him? But him, right?
Yeah, in his normal clothing.
Right.
And we should say he wears like khakis, a green sports coat, and a black turtleneck.
Right.
It's a great look. Yeah, great look.
And then, so this is, okay, so Son of Satan shoots Damien Hellstrom with his trident. And then when he shoots him, this like black butterfly comes out of Damien Hellstrom's mouth and becomes a third guy.
That's the dark soul. That's the evil dark soul that possesses him. Yeah.
Okay. And he's like, thank you, satanic brother. I admit, or what? I am at last totally free to destroy this treacherous whelp who imprisons us both and denies us our universal right to be individuals. No, stop, I didn't mean. Don't concern yourself, son of Satan. No harm shall befall me, for this is Trinity. And he holds up like a crucifix. And he's like, and this is the bondage of Trinity for those who propagate chaos. This son of Satan is your salvation. And he holds up and then the crucifix shoots out like lightning, and it kind of like holds down the, what is it called? The soul thing?
The dark soul.
The dark soul. And so basically, they're chatting it up back and forth, and then all of a sudden, he wakes up back in his bed, back in his Son of Satan getup, right? Yeah,
because when he went to sleep in the bed, he was in his normal clothing, but he wakes up and he's in Son of Satan.
Yep. But then when he wakes up, that demon woman is there.
Yep.
Looking funky.
Yeah.
She's like, I am the Oracle. I am drawn to people by instinct and weave dreams for them. It is up to them to decipher what these prophecies mean. And then she vanishes, and then he's like, pain in my head all around. And then he starts screaming, and then outside we see, what's her name, Serifa?
Yep.
Serifa, whatever, Thames. And then a big explosion out of the window, which she sees. She runs up, and Hellstrom's on the ground, all like, reeling in pain, and then she's like, I hate to ask facetious questions at a time like this, but are those things you're wearing supposed to be pajamas? 'Cause that's what I was thinking too. It is ceremonial garb, but we'll worry about that later. I suggest we investigate this other room. The student might be injured. And then they go inside, and by the 7 circles, they see someone, and he's like, Damon and Serapha stare, transfixed, their minds asking unvoiced questions which now have no easy answers. So in the person on the ground, who is that?
They mentioned earlier that there was a... like the dorm where he's staying in, or the area he's staying in, it's mostly empty, but there is someone in the room next to him. And she said that he's a little weird, but he's harmless.
Okay.
So if you run into him. So that's why he wanted to check to see if that kid's all right. And here, look, this, I don't know, they look through the hole in the wall to his dorm room, and this kid's like upside down, like on his, I guess he's on his bed. He's like...
Yeah, see, that's what's confusing. Is he in his bed? Is he in the ground? Is he on the
it looks
wall?
like he's in the ground. It
Right.
kind of looks like she looked in his dream where she was
Right.
getting buried.
Right.
He looks like that. But he's colored all yellow.
Right.
And yeah, it's just strange. Because like when it says Damon and Serapha stare transfixed, their minds asking unvoiced questions which may, which have no easy answers. That's how I felt about that panel. Like I had a lot of questions, and I had no idea what I was looking at. But,
right. And then it says, next, introducing a new mind-maddening menace from Mighty Marvel.
Nice.
The assassin revealed. So, yeah.
Dun,
the
dun,
end.
dun. Look at that, Michael. Page 31. Page 31. Because there's a lot of ads. A lot of ads.
Yes, there are. Yes, there are.
A lot of ads.
Yeah.
So there you go. Son of Satan issue 4. What do you think?
Oh, I can probably see why it was canceled.
Yeah.
Not to say I don't hate it. Like, I did read some of these, years ago, and I did like them, but I think I see the issue. Like, I like the tone, I like the art. I think the writing is actually good. It's just that the plot is really awkwardly constructed.
Yeah, and the art has its moments, but it's not great either. Like there are definitely some panels where it looks, oh, this is really bad. But there are also panels that look nice. I think when they're doing the heavy inks and stuff, that's when it looks the best. Like a lot of black and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, the writing, a lot of exposition.
Right.
A lot of awkward dialogue. But
yeah, like this guy John Warner, I'm sure he's good at writing horror. And he's got the tone, but yeah, it's just like he doesn't just, like, at least in this issue, it's just not really a story, right? It's a flashback, and then one
dream
thing
sequence
happens, and then dream. So really, only one thing happens. He gets a position at this university. It's just really awkwardly told.
Yeah, the dream sequence is kind of interesting. I would have liked to see him go even more over the top with it, just make it totally weird. But
yeah, like even the fact that the woman was telling him, oh, by the way, this is a dream. You have to figure out what these symbols mean. That kind of ruins it, doesn't it? It'd be nice if you just had the dream.
There's really no need for that that lady, Like, why is she... Like, he should just figure this out on his own. I don't know. But, yeah, so it's all right, I guess.
Yeah.
The character's actually kind of interesting, the way they set him up and everything, but...
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, like, I remember when I read this years ago, I was like, oh, this is such a cool character. But, yeah, I just don't think it ever really clicked.
Yeah. Seven issues. So, yeah, I will not read any more of this, but...
I can say one thing. I'm not excited to read more, but when I flipped to the fill-in issue, written by our pal Bill Mantlo, the art by Russ Heath is actually incredible. Really good, yeah. So maybe check that out.
I don't know who Russ Heath is.
Oh, he's a veteran artist, Marvel and DC. He did 1 or 2 issues of G.I. Joe, and we interviewed him, and he's really cool. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
So what do you
Son
think?
of Satan.
Son of Satan, what do you think?
I'll give it a 5, I think.
Yep, that's what I'm going to give it a 5.
Yeah.
It's not great, it's not bad, but I'm not really excited to read more, but it has potential.
I suppose, yeah. That's one way of saying it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I experienced it,
Right.
I guess, look, I read a Son of Satan issue.
Do you think it inspired Todd McFarlane's Spawn?
I think Spawn was more Spider-Man and Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Probably.
Oh yeah, there's definitely Ghost Rider with selling his soul to the devil and all that.
And the chains.
Right. Yeah, the chains. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the second time I've reviewed Son of Satan.
But the first time you did it without a professional wrestler.
That's right. Yep.
So,
first time for everything, right?
Yep. All right, Michael, next week.
Next week, we're going to take a left turn. There is no holiday to match up to this character. We got another classic DC superhero in the form of Hawkman.
Hawkman.
Hawkman, are you familiar with Hawkman?
Oh, I'm familiar with Hawkman. When I was a kid, I used to like him because he had the mace, like the.
That's right.
That was a cool weapon. But aren't they like aliens?
Yes, they're from the planet Thanagar.
I guess we've talked about this before, but it seems like DC, all their heroes are one person of another race from off the planet. And
some of them.
so,
I mean, Hawkman.
Most of them. Superman,
Martian Manhunter.
Well, Green Lantern in a way, kind of.
Well, no, it's from Earth. But.
Yeah, but the Lantern stuff was, there's a whole group of them off in space, and they took him, So it's kind of like the same. Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I know what you're getting at. Yeah, I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Like
because I think when I was a kid,
from one race, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think when I was a kid, I thought just Hawkman was just a dude who dressed like a hawk.
Well,
I never realized he was like
there's
aliens.
The Golden Age version and the Silver Age. The Golden Age was a guy who was a reincarnation of Prince Khufu. This is the Silver Age version.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that next week.
Yeah, so what issue did you say?
So this is The Shadow War of Hawkman #1. I just sent you the link. This is written by Tony Isabella and with art by Richard Howell and Alfredo Alcala.
And what year is this?
This is May 1985.
85.
Woo! Yep.
So this is pre-Crisis?
This is right in the middle of Crisis, but it's considered pre-Crisis, yes.
Okay.
Yep. I didn't mark that down. So yeah, there you go, folks. Another fun-filled episode of Flea Market Fantasy. Join us next week for sure. You can find our previous episodes on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, or Comic Book Syndicate. You can also follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and the Comic Book Syndicate website. So until next Tuesday, disperse!